Hey, what's good, everybody? This is me, your hero, Benjamin Banks, and you're watching Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks, and it is a brand new episode of Who's That Cosplayer? And joining me today is somebody that is really, really nice, and they are coming all the way from Scotland, and that is Geckocos. Gecko, how are you doing today?
Not bad. Yeah, I'm definitely doing okay. You doing good?
Hey, I'm doing fantastic. I'm really excited to get into this interview. It's not too often that I have international cosplayers come up here on Who's That Cosplayer. Like I've had a couple of people that I've interviewed
Mhm.
from Indonesia, from Puerto Rico.
Oh, cool.
This is the first time that I've interviewed somebody from Scotland. So I'm really excited to get into this interview.
Yay.
So before we get into today's interview, everybody that's watching, make sure that you like this video, you subscribe to the channel, and you hit that bell button so that way you're always notified when we have new content here on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. And as D always says, podcast link down below in the description. Like, follow, subscribe. So let's go ahead and get into today's interview. So Gecko, the first question that I ask each and every guest up here is,
Okay.
what is your origin story? Every hero or villain has one. So tell everybody who Gecko is.
Okay, so I think mine, it's really difficult to explain this, but basically, when I was younger, I used to be like really into like World Book Day and stuff like that. And like Halloween and things. So my mum used to make me a lot of like costumes and stuff for those. And then when I was 10, my mum got me my own sewing machine. And then I started like helping make my own costumes for like World Book Day and things and like Halloween and things like that. And then when I was 13, I got like into like the online cosplay space. I like found my way there through being a massive nerd. Um, and I started like just making costumes and getting into cosplaying online and going to cons and stuff like that. So I've been going to cons since like 2016 or something like that. But yeah, I officially started cosplaying in 2015. And then during the pandemic, I got like really into it, more for like the online kind of aspect of it, like actually posting content and things like that. And I started like really sort of leveling up like how I made my own
Hey.
cosplays and stuff. Yeah. Um, roll credits, I guess. But yeah, I started like got into like making more difficult things, and then I've started entering cosplay competitions and stuff nowadays. So yeah.
That's awesome. And that was a really cool origin story. So I got to ask you, like right off the jump, what has been one of the most difficult cosplays that you've made?
Okay. I think one of my more recent ones, my like late 1880s inspired arena from part one of JoJo. That it's still not finished. I took it to a con, not finished. So it was like I had to make the undergarments and everything for it. So like the bustle, the shift, the actual like doing historical patterning and everything like that. That was difficult. And I've still got to finish making the corset and everything like that. So it's taking a long time, but I'm really proud of it, and I really like how I look in it.
Yeah, I mean,
Very
you
difficult to
should
put the
be.
bathroom in.
I
But
mean, you should be proud of it because I mean, like I've seen it. It was just on the background in the slideshow, and I
oh
remember
yeah,
when
there's a
we
whole slideshow.
I remember when we first started talking and you were telling me that you were working on your Arena Pendleton cosplay. And when
Yes.
you finally debuted it at the con, like it looked so amazing. But I understand where you're coming from when it comes to like, there's still things that I need to add to this cosplay before I finish.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to see the final finished product. But I want to ask you, like, how long? Because I know we started talking a couple of months ago, but like, how long did it take you to like put everything together?
So I started it June, July of last year, and I got it like finished enough to go to the convention I went to at the end of September, like 2 days before it. Because like I had to go through like doing all the mock-ups and like the actual making of it as well. So, and my plan is to get it properly finished for May of this year.
Awesome, awesome. So
Yeah.
I want to ask you now, like, how different is the cosplay scene over in Scotland compared to how it is over here in America? Because like I've interviewed like Mrs. Tokoyami, whose interview y'all can check out. It is up here on YouTube. And when I had interviewed her, she was telling me like how, you know, cosplay is frowned upon in certain places. Like in Puerto Rico, like it's frowned upon, like if you're out in public and you're wearing your cosplay and whatnot. How is it over there in Scotland?
So I think it depends on like where you are, I think. But I mean, Scotland's quite a small place. It's only like 5 million population or something like that. However, I'm from Glasgow, and Glasgow is kind of known for being a bit of a wild city. Like there's some weird stuff you'll see if you just go down the street and you're like, this is fine. But yeah, so I've never had any issues personally. Like everyone seems like dead cool about it. I have had a few people on a train like ask me, oh, what's going on today? Like, what's happening? And then you're like, oh, it's a cosplay convention up at the thing. And they're like, oh, that's really cool. And then I had like, there was the last con I went to, like one of the last cons I went to in September. The combination of like where it was, there's like 3 different centers in the same place. So there was the convention going on in one place, and then there was, this is a very Scottish thing, but there was a musical about a football team happening in the building next to it. And it's one of the football teams that is kind of like notoriously, their fans are terrible. It's a whole thing. But yeah, no, me and my friends were doing like a photo shoot around the back. And someone came up to us and was like, so is this Comic-Con thing on tomorrow? And we were like, yeah, no, it's on tomorrow. And they was like, oh, cool, like fully wearing a football strip, which is like, oh, like football as in like soccer, by the way, not
yeah.
But yeah, fully wearing like a football strip, and like usually you kind of associate those people with like, I want to stay away from you, and then this guy's like, oh, I might bring my granddaughter here tomorrow, you know, that'd be like, thanks for talking to me, guys. And we're like, cool, thank you, bye. So yeah, I think it's kind of Glasgow, at least, it's pretty chill. So
that's awesome. So I want to ask you, when you had said somebody had asked you like what was going on around here, like was it an older person that had asked you that?
It's like a middle-aged white woman.
Okay, because it's like I had went to KatsuCon a couple of weekends ago, and like there was this older age couple, and they just looked astonished by everything that was going on. They was just like, why is everybody dressed up in costumes? Like,
yeah,
they're Halloween right now, like what's going on? And I remember we had went to Chipotle, and like they were just looking in the windows at everybody in costumes, and I explained to them, I was like, oh, it's a con, like people, it's like Halloween for adults, and everybody just, you know, wears their favorite costumes of cartoon characters, video game characters, anime and stuff like that. And I always think that it's really cool when older people see younger people having a fun time, and they're not doing anything destructive or violent or anything. They just see people are just out here just cosplaying and having a fun time. So I want to ask you, like, what has been one of your favorite moments from going to conventions?
God, I think one of my more favorite ones is actually a convention I went to down in Newcastle, down in England, last year, because it's only like an hour or so away on the train. I went down with one of my like really close cosplay friends, and again we had some really interesting interactions with people like on the street there, like things we wouldn't expect. I had like a random old man saying that my wig was cool. I was like, cool.
Oh wow. Yeah, that's dark.
It was like nice though. It was nice though.
Yeah.
But no, one of my like genuine favorite things is my friend and I. We went as like a sort of like a rave version of Fugo Naranja to the after party, and there was people that even in that costume were like, "Oh, cool, Fugo Naranja." However, that convention had 2 people in dinosaur suits that just started fighting each other in the middle of the dance floor, and the DJs were like hyping it up.
Yeah.
And it's like one of those things that I don't think I will ever see again, but it was so funny.
Yeah, I agree, man. It's just like there's always some really cool moments that happen at conventions. Like again at KatsuCon, I've never seen a white-haired Kira at a convention. So like
Yeah, neither. When I
that's
saw
my
yours,
favorite.
I was like, oh my God, it's that one.
Thank you. Thank you. And it's like, man, I'm so happy that when I went there that I was the only one. But then you also had the blonde haired Kira and then you had the black haired Kira. And I was just like, what are the odds of having like all three versions
Yeah.
of Kira here? So it's always awesome, like just experiencing different moments at conventions and just making those memories, making magic.
Yeah.
That's what I like to call it. Cause it's just like when you go to conventions, it's like you make magic there. You make memories, you meet people, you form friendships, and then you form cosplay groups and whatnot. So
yeah,
like seeing all of the cosplays that you've done, like you are really talented at what you do. You know, pinkies up to Mama Gecko for, you know, getting you the sewing machine and starting you on your cosplay journey. So I want to ask you, and like you've done a lot of cosplay. So usually I ask people to give me their top 3, but I want your top 5. What are your top 5 favorite cosplays that you've done?
Who's that cosplayer?
It's me, Captain All Might.
Oh my God. So many. I've been doing this for so long. I think Arena definitely has to be up there. I'm like really proud of Arena. Yeah, she was really fun. I think another one that I was like really proud of at the time is my like coronation queen outfit for Historia Rice from Attack on Titan. She was genuinely like a dream cosplay for me at the time, and I was so proud of it when I did it. I've not worn it since like December 2020, so it's like in my wardrobe over there, just like gathering dust, and I'm like, I will wear you someday. I think Sting from Fairy Tail is also like one that's kind of up there recently. It took me ages to actually finish him. And also like the big flag that I made to go with it. So proud of that. And that was like a really fun one I did with like a group. So yeah, definitely love that one. And then I think for the other 2, probably Johnny and Josuke. Josuke is another one that I'm like really proud of how I made. I entered that into a competition in Edinburgh a couple months ago. Didn't win, but like experience.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly.
Yes, I just the wig as well. That took so long. I'm so proud of how that came out. And then Johnny is a massive comfort character for me. So I love wearing them so much.
Yeah. So. I feel like all of the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure cosplays are comfort cosplays because they're just regular clothes. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
It's like when I'm not Josuke, when I'm Jotaro, I'm just putting on pants and a jacket. That's it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I love wearing that like the final day of the convention because it's like, I don't even have to change. I can just take my jacket off, hop in the car, and then be on my way. But at the last convention I went to, I was Rengoku on the final day, and I was just like, I'm just gonna hop in my car, never again, because it was just too much. My cape got stuck, the cape was blowing in the wind. I was just like, I've never experienced this as Jotaro, man. And so never again. So I think that that's an awesome list that you said, especially your Josuke, because I know how hard Josuke's wig can take to get done. And I always love seeing every Josuke cosplayer's wig design. And I love each and every one of them because it does take a long time. Like, it's one of those things where it's just like, you know that it's perfect when it's perfect, right?
Yeah.
It's like you'll keep on working on it for hours until you finally can say, I'm ready to take this thing to a convention. So now I want to ask you, because, you know, something that I've seen at a lot of conventions lately are, you know, people with disabilities there, and they're there having a good time and whatnot. And I know that you have a disability. So I want to ask you, like, how does that play into your cosplay? Like, have you ever had any issues, you know, with your disability, or has anybody ever seen you at a convention that, you know, has a disability as well, and they saw you online and it's just like, yo, you inspired me to want to cosplay? You have any stories like that?
So like conventions, not so much. Like inspiring things. I've just kind of had people, especially when I was in Johnny, make some like comments that are not so fun. That wasn't the best. My friend was ready to like go for them, and I was like, it's fine. But like the big sort of post I made last year, like in July, I have a lot of people still comment on that, like, oh, thank you for making this. I've like wanted to like cosplay, but I feel like this it was like holding me back, or like people were going to say this, that, and the next thing, and I'm like, yeah, you just ignore them. You just ignore them. Um, so I've had a lot of people say that, like, thank you for doing this. Thank you for like helping me with this. So that one definitely like made me feel quite happy. But like as for like changing my own cosplays, I kind of have to like work with things. It's like, I mean, because I make them, I've not really had many like super big issues. But like I have to make like trousers, like pants, whatever, like a certain width, like bigger, so that I can fit like my braces and stuff under them. But my Narancha cosplay, I basically just used a cheat code, and I was like, I want skinny legs. I'm just gonna use stretch fabric. So I did, and it works. So
Nice.
I just kind of have to work around things like that. And there's a few times where I've had to, like, I'm working on Lucy Steele just now, and I'm kind of having to think, I can't do the massive like bobble bell thing she's got on her thing, because that will get in the way. So I've like tried to think of new ways of doing that. So I think I'm gonna go with beading, but we'll see.
All right, I love that. I love that you have inspired and motivated people, because I feel like with cosplay, we all do that. You know what I'm saying? Like I heard that before, where it's like somebody had told me on Facebook that like I inspired them to start cosplaying, and it felt so good to hear that, because it's just like, you know, we get into cosplay, we're doing this for fun, we're doing this to have a good time, and you never know who's watching, you never know who's listening, you never know who's looking, and you never know who you're inspiring. So pinky's up to you for doing that, because it's just like you're that person's hero, you know? It's like you set that person on their cosplay journey. You were that person's speedwagon. No. Better yet, you were the person that saved Josuke and his mom when they were stuck in the snow. Yeah, that's who you are. You know what I'm saying? So hey, yeah, pinky's up for that. So
Someone will be coughing my hair still next. Let's go.
All right, so you know, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I love it, you love it. And I always love it when I have JoJo cosplayers up here, because I gotta ask the question. So the first question I ask everybody is, which part is your favorite part?
Right. So I have a different list depending on which ones I think are objectively the best and which ones are my favorite.
Okay.
So it depends on which one you want.
Give me the one that is your favorite.
It's Phantom Blood, or part one.
Ooh, okay. All right. And why is Phantom Blood your favorite?
I just love Jonathan.
I do too. He's underrated.
I have like multiple figures of him, like my
look
little
at
tiny Jonathan. He's also the first Nendroid I ever bought. So
yeah, Jonathan is the perfect gentleman, and he doesn't get the respect that he deserves. And I always love it when I see Jonathan cosplayers at conventions. But I love interviewing Jonathan cosplayers too, because then I can be a dick to them when I'm Jotaro and be like, it's your fault why Dio is still here and causing us all these issues. If you would have just took him out, old man. But okay, so I mean, I kind of have a feeling that I know who your favorite JoJo is, but I may be wrong. Which JoJo is your favorite?
it is a tie between Jonathan and Johnny.
Okay, I knew it was gonna be Jonathan, but why Johnny?
Again, Johnny is he just means a lot to me, and it's like the fact that he's actually decent disabled representation, and it's not like his entire personality. Also, he's just funny. Like he does not care about anyone. I just love him like a lot.
Okay. I will say that because I just started reading Steel Ball Run. I'm in chapter 5, and I love the fact that when they introduce you to Johnny, it's like they make you hate him just because of who he is. So I'm just wow, like this guy, like, he's not cool, you know. So
he is like he's not a good person, but I love him. He's just so fun. I think that's another reason, because like him and Diego are like very parallel to each other. Like morally they're kind of on the same like wavelength, and like they're not deliberately good or deliberately bad. They're just kind of like there, and I'm like, I just love you two. You two are great.
Okay, all right. So now I want to know, which JoJo villain is your favorite villain? Now, it can be one of the major antagonists, or it can be a minor one.
It is Cars. Cars and like the Pillar Men in general. But like Pucci is a close second.
Okay. I feel like that the Pillar Men don't get the love that they deserve. It's like Cars, for real, he just wanted to walk in the sun, you know? That's what he wanted to do. He just wanted to turn everybody into vampires and walk in the sun. And Joseph didn't want that to happen. And, you know, I still like to think that Cars, even though the universe got reset, Cars is somewhere in space, just floating around, chilling.
He's vibing. His little squirrel hands. Just having a great time, you know?
What if, like, Cars is actually like just inside of that rock shell and he's just chilling? Like maybe he made like a speaker or something. He listens to music. He could be like a genie in a bottle. I mean, you know, I mean, I'm just saying. So, all right, final JoJo question.
Okay.
If you could have your own stand, what would that stand's name be, and what would the stand's ability be? And it can't be one from the series. It has to be your own.
I've thought about a name. I've never thought about an ability. I'm a massive Green Day fan. So like Jesus of Suburbia would be a really good fan name.
Okay.
I don't know what it would do though.
So I guess it's just like Echoes right now. Like you don't know what the ability is.
Yeah.
It's still learning. Okay. All right. Well,
doing something.
Well, look, you're gonna have to get back to me and let me know like what that stand's ability is, because I feel like you're gonna think about it like after the interview is over. It's just like, dang, like, why didn't I say that?
I should have thought something.
No, it's cool.
If we're going by their Glasgow concerts, it's not putting the stage up properly and cancelling it 20 minutes before doors.
Wow. That's evil.
I cried the entire way home.
I mean, I would too, especially if you're trying to go and see your favorite band and then it's just like, so I totally understand that. So Gecko, we are here at the end of the interview. I just want to say thank you so much for coming up here, joining me on Who's That Cosplayer. My first Scottish cosplayer up here on Who's That Cosplayer. You get 2 pinkies for that. So before I let you go, let everybody in social media land know where they can find you at.
Yes, so I am on Instagram, just Geckocos, no spaces, anything. It kind of just looks like geckos. And then TikTok, I am also Geckocos, but there's 2 O's in Gecko. And then Twitter, it's Gecko Moon, but the 2 O's are zeros.
Okay, awesome. And y'all make sure that y'all go and follow Gecko on all of their social media accounts. Y'all know where y'all can find me, your hero Benjamin Banks at KingBenji_Banks on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. You can find me on Facebook at Benjamin Banks. I should be the first person to pop up. If not, then I need to contact Mr. Zuckerberg. Thank you all again for watching this interview. Make sure you check out some more interviews that we have up here on the channel. Check out the podcast where we have brand new episodes every Tuesday. The link is down below in the description. And then the video of that episode is up here on YouTube on Friday. So with that being said, keep that pinky up, stay positive. We'll see you next time on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. Peace.
Thanks again, everybody, for watching another episode of Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe to the channel. Podcast, we got that too. Make sure you give us a thumbs up and hit that bell for further episodes and notifications. Thanks a lot to our patrons. And if you don't mind, join the Patreon. We'll be having new specials coming up soon.